What's up, YouTube? We're back out here with a 62 Bel Air Wagon today, and if you watch my other two videos that I have, we finally got that passenger side rocker squared away inside and out. And man, that was a little bit of a chore because we had to replace that brace that's actually on the inside of, in between those two pieces. But we're going to work on this driver's side, and the floor, it doesn't really look that bad. I mean, it's got issues, but it has been patched. As you can see right here, somebody had patched it over the years. And the inner rocker on this one is bad, as you can see here, where you have these holes. I mean, it's just totally ate up. We got the brand new inner rocker there. And I think this side's going to be a little easier than the other side because the bracing over here on this side is actually pretty decent. Well, now we might have to make a patch or two, but I don't expect it to be a big task like the other one. I pretty much have already patched the outer rocker, and I'll show you that. I've already patched this, and from what I could tell from behind there is that that brace in the middle is actually pretty good. I did have to fix it on the rear and in the front. The majority of the work that's going to be over here, it's just going to be like the other side. And this side's not quite as bad as the other side, but we're going to have to rebuild all this area right here in front on the outer rocker. They don't make this piece. We had to make it for the other side. This side's a little bit better, like I said, but it's not great. As you can see there, we're going to have to rebuild all that and tie it all back in. But we got this all, it's all welded up. We're going to do just like the other side. I'm not going to do any weld grinding or anything until it's time to do the actual body work. But when we get this inner rocker in, or I should say after we get this inner rocker in, we'll be able to put the center floor section in. So I bought a one-piece floor pan. It was about $900. Already had all the braces attached. If you start going and buying them braces alone, man, they're pretty expensive. But it's just a one-piece deal, and it goes from the main seam up here. Of course, it goes on top of your inner rockers on both sides, and it stops right here at your factory seam. Now, the pan that I bought actually come with that rear pan, and I was going to patch this one, and then I got in here and pulled the carpet and realized, yeah, I need to replace it. So I got that rear pan, and I got this one-piece deal. So here we got the pan cut out. You can get a little bit better look at the inner rocker here, and you can see it's not good. But it's a little bit better than the passenger side. We need to do a little bit more trimming on this. But take a look at the floor pan section here that we cut out. You can see where our problems were. You see this brace. This is actually the brace right underneath the rear seat. As you can see, that thing's ate up pretty good. But the center section's pretty solid, but this brace is all ate up. And so is that one. The brace where the seat bolts up, that's a little ate up. And you can see where it's rotted on the end here. This one was actually decent on the end, but rotted all down in here, so you can see it's rotted right in there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get rid of the rest of this inner rocker section so we can get it ready, get everything prepped behind there so we can put the other rocker in. So we got most of the inner rocker pieces out that were rotted. As you can see, that brace in there, I mean, I know it looks a little crusty and there's a few little areas there that have some holes, but overall it's actually pretty solid. Now the other side, pretty much it was ate up halfway up all the way down, and you can see where I patched it in the front there where it was ate up pretty bad. So I'll probably patch that up right in there where you see these bad spots. So this side should be a little easier than the passenger side. Like I said, we'll patch some stuff up. We'll probably do some treatment on there. And then once we get that little strip there, we should be able to get our new inner rocker in there and get it all fitted up. So we got this inner rocker fitted in. And I had to do a little bit of trimming so we could get it in there. And it still needs a little bit of work. I need to do a little bit of work down here. On this end, I'm going to treat some of this metal, and of course I'm going to treat the brace that's behind this also. But I figured I'd get this thing in and see where it fitted at, and I'm going to take some measurements to make sure it's in the exact spot it needs to be, and I'll have an index of where to put this thing back in the correct spot. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this inner rocker piece down. We're going to take our wire brush wheel, we're going to knock some of that rust down on that inner brace. We're going to treat the inner brace, and we're going to do all that before we take it any further. Alright, you see I've got everything all wire brushed down here, and as you can see, we do have a little bit of rust holes right in here. The rest of this is pretty solid. I mean, it might not look like it, but it really is solid. So I could cut all this out. I really don't want to get into that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make me a piece that goes about halfway up here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat all this metal behind it, and I'm going to put a new piece over top of it and just kind of tack weld it in, stitch weld it in across the seams. And that way we're not cutting out any of this metal. I did treat the other side of this, so it should be okay. If I treat this side and put a metal strip in here and weld it in nice and good, we have nice clean metal down in here. This is all brand new. So that should be fine doing it that way. Back here, as you can see, it's pretty solid. We got a little hole here, and this is heavily pitted right in here. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do. It's still pretty solid, so I might just try to kind of fill in these holes a little bit, you know, try to do some little light tack welding on it, see if I can't fill some of this in. That's what I'm gonna do there. I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try to fill in those holes as best I can and then grind it back down, and we'll see how it goes. So we got this reinforcement patched up right here, as you can see, and I've got it all treated in here. I'm gonna need to let that dry, and you can see up here in the front I've added this piece right here that comes down, filled all that in, made it nice and solid again. And the inner rocker actually slides in this groove right here and lines up with this, and I'll show you that here. So here's what it looks like with the inner rocker piece in. As you can see, it lines up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, just weld this solid up when we're ready to put this in. We should be able to do the final measurements and fitting and actually start cutting the holes so we can plug weld this thing in. So here's the inner rocker fitted up for the final time. And as you can see, I've got all my lines there. Those are for the spot welds that we're going to drill. And that will be the next step, is we'll take this out and start cutting all those holes so we can spot weld this thing in. So here we have an air hole punch, and this is what we're using to punch the holes in the sheet metal. And then what we'll do is we'll go back with a drill bit and we'll drill out the holes to a bigger size so we can make those spot welds a little bit bigger. Now this is the easier way to go than to trying to just drill out all these holes all together. It saves a lot of time and a lot of effort. So here we have the inner rocker all in. All the holes are drilled. It's ready to weld in. Well, here it is, all welded in. Like I said before in the other video, I'm going to dress all these welds up when it comes time to do the body work on the rockers after I get the floor in. And we do have a couple areas up here we need to work on, and we'll fix those at a later date. So the next step of this project, we're going to remove the frame and we're going to remove the rest of this floor pan section. Now I was going to try to put this one-piece floor pan that I have in with all the braces. I was actually going to try to put it in with the frame still underneath the car, but I think it'll be a lot easier to get those spot welds up there at the front of the floor pan. So we're going to get that frame out from underneath here, take this floor section out that we have here, and get our new floor section in.